Do you recall arguments that were manufactured for the cameras? It got pretty messy, according to reports, and this time the drama broke out backstage, where no cameras were meant to be rolling. Is it possible that Yandy and Mendeecees would engage in a heated argument behind the scenes as the rest of the cast watched in disbelief? It's not your typical love and hip-hop drama. What set them off is the question. Did Yandy finally get even for all the drama she's been through? Or did she get caught up in another scandal? Whether it was another secret affair or if Yandy just found information that might destroy everything, fans are desperately attempting to put together what really happened. But one thing is for sure, this hip-hop and love moment is coming to an end. Think again if you thought that Mendeecees and Yandy's drama was finally coming to an end in the history of reality TV. The entire ensemble is shocked by what transpired backstage at Love and Hip Hop. The fistfights, secrets, and meltdowns that may alter everything were unanticipated. I assure you that this is not only a disagreement. Rather, it is a full-fledged conflict between two individuals whose relationship has been troubled for some time. But it's worse than anyone could have predicted that the tension was so high that a knife might sever it, with allegations flying, and security being maintained behind the scenes. It was utter mayhem, according to witnesses who rushed in, and rumors have it that the cast had to step in before things got out of control. Worse. But hold on. What exactly triggered this catastrophe? To put it mildly, some old demons came to the surface at the most inconvenient moment. Yandy had finally had enough of Mendeecees hiding something. There were explosions when the truth came to light. Let's go back in time for a bit. Anyone who has been hanging out with their messy-nosed males in DCs has had questionable friendships and hasn't exactly been the model of loyalty. Late-night activities, not to mention those previously released direct messages. Yandy seems to have been seething inside, and last night she finally lost it. But she generally maintained her cool and smiled for the cameras. Sources claim that she was pacing and whispering with producers since she was already in a certain mood before the Love and Hip Hop taping even started, glaring at me as he went by, and the gloves were removed once they were in the same room. Yandy wouldn't have it that way, so I walked into the room acting as though nothing had happened. With the cameras still filming, she stood squarely in front of him and refused to back down, saying she was tired of being ridiculed, tired of lying, and tired of defending a man. Mendeecees tried to brush it off at first, like she was tripping, but when Yandy brought up that woman, his whole attitude shifted. You can tell it's awful by the way M froze. His face went blank, and his mouth opened as if he wanted to explain, but it was too late, for Yandy was already hot, exposing the cast and receipts. No one knows for sure who that woman is, was already enjoying some popcorn while watching. At first, Mendeecees tried to deny everything, according to one insider, saying Yandy was overreacting and listening to individuals who were only trying to split them up. Yandy wasn't playing this time, though. Instead, she pulled out her phone and showed him the texts, timestamps, and evidence, and all of a sudden he was apprehended. By this time, everyone was chatting on their phones and whispering, and the backstage area was in complete chaos. Mendeecees abruptly lost it while security was watching and debating whether or not to step in. At this point, he changed the script and started screaming back at Yandy, accusing her of being the problem since she consistently acts perfect while he is the villain, instead of expressing regret or accepting responsibility. This is when things started to become insane. He cited past events to bolster his assertions that she isn't innocent either, but before anyone could realize what was truly going on, the tables were flipped, security showed up, and now everyone is yelling, "People are being pushed, members of the Love and Hip Hop cast are stepping in, and the producers are blowing their minds." It wasn't simply any dispute, it marked the start of the history of reality television. Let's talk about the cast's responses for a bit, because some were astonished by the level of drama, while some were delighted by Loki, and others were merely vying for screen time. Rashida's sister was shaking her head like someone's disgruntled auntie at Thanksgiving. Safri was in the back, grinning as if he knew the tea. Erica Mena was seen covering her mouth as though she had just witnessed a murder. And let's not even mention Carly Red. Sis had her phone out, probably gathering notes for her next nasty moment, as you already know. Security was finally able to separate Mendeecees and Yandy due to the turmoil, but the harm had already been done. The fact that they had to halt filming and now had to deal with this PR mess infuriated the producers. But things became worse when someone leaked an unidentified mystery cast member was heard stating to filmmakers that Mendeecees might be leading a double life in addition to cheating. A double life? Yes, you heard it. This isn't your normal side chick scenario based on the way people were murmuring. We don't yet have all the information, but let's assume that if what they're saying is accurate, as you well know, the rumors caused social media to go crazy. Instagram was flooded with memes, Twitter was on fire, and the comment section was in utter disarray. The best comment was that I need an entire Netflix documentary about this kind of drama. Another fan remarked that Mendeecees is truly acting like a double agent, and another said that Yandy should have left that man we've been warned about. What Mendeecees actually did and why Yandy held off on disclosing it until now are the real questions. Part 2 is where things get even messier because of what happened next, which makes people wonder whether their entire relationship was a deception from the start. Her tone suggests that it is about much more than just a few texts. You would assume that after security separated Yandy and Mendeecees, everything would calm down. Down completely wrong, because just when everyone thought it was finished, someone revealed a shocking revelation that left the whole cast of Love and Hip Hop stunned. As it seems, the mysterious cast member I mentioned earlier was telling the truth when they claimed that Mendeecees was leading a second life in addition to cheating. Backstage rumors started to spread like wildfire, and before you knew it, Yandy had returned too. But this time, it was more than simply rage. It was a break. Moving on to the next level, it seems that Mendeecees was playing house with another woman, while he was out here pretending to be family man for the cameras. Is a serious second relationship rather than a casual one. You read that right. Mendeecees has reportedly spent months in a relationship. According to reports, the woman in question, whom we'll refer to as Maya, hinted on social media for weeks. She has been wearing jewelry that looks like Yandy's, posting cryptic messages and, wait for it, sharing photos from inside a house that looks exactly like M's other apartment. Being the wise woman that she is, Yandy had been beginning to suspect something, but she never have hard proof now because, wait a minute, one of the creators of Hip Hop and Love acknowledged that they knew about this months prior. To make matters worse, the producers were holding off on revealing it on camera until the ideal moment. Even if it might be messy, reality TV is just bad. They sat on this information, allowed Yandy to enter the recording completely blind, and waited for the ideal opportunity to let. At this point, even the cast was beginning to feel bad because, let's face it, nobody should have to find out like this, and Mendeecees, he was completely silent. That man had nothing. When Yandy realized the truth, she lost it. I'm talking a full breakdown, screaming, shaking, and pushing cameras away. She was done. She told producers, "You all are disgusting, you all let me look stupid for views." Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, Maya herself decided to join the chat because she appeared out of nowhere. Yes, Maya, the alleged other woman, was waiting to talk outside the studio, and when security tried to stop her, she pulled the trigger. To say you know it's bad when even Carly Red isn't stirring the pot, Sis was just sitting there with a guilty look on her face like she knew this was going too far. Ultimate power move, she called the producers straight away. Then, as you can imagine, the producers whispered, the phones rang, and before anyone could even comprehend what was happening, they let her in. Now let me tell you, when you saw her, you saw how her face changed, from heartbroken to ready to fight. She got up so quickly that security had to grab her because things were about to get physical, and Maya, her sister, who wasn't afraid at all, entered the room as composed as ever, as if she had been waiting for this moment her entire life. She looked Yandy in the face and said, "I'm sorry you had to find out like this, but you deserve to know the truth." The room fell silent, and even Mendeecees, who had been trying to play cool the entire time, appeared to have just seen a ghost when he realized he had no ad Yandy for the first time. The first time. She asked with tears in her eyes, the one question that could change everything. How long? When I answered, it broke Yandy's heart because, rather than saying a few months or even a year, she looked Yandy in the face and said, "Since before he went to prison, y'all." The entire room gasped, and she thought she had said, even the producers who had been waiting for this moment, looked. Mendeecees had been cheating on Yandy long before he was ever imprisoned, which meant that while he was down, visiting him, and defending his name, he had another woman on the side. When I tell you this, Yandy breaks down, falling to the ground and gasping for air. This was not just a betrayal. It was the waste of years of her life. And Mendeecees was still silent about that. Man. He tried to talk, but his voice broke. And before he could finish his sentence, Yandy threw her ring at him. At this point, even the producers realized they had gone too far, and the cameras went black. Security began shoving people out, and the cast members began crying, including Erica Mena, who enjoys a scandal and seemed to want to leave. It wasn't even drama anymore. It was just painful to witness. And as she left, she said one final thing that left everyone's jaws on the floor. She turned to face M, looking him in the eyes, and said, "I hope she was worth it because you just lost the best thing you ever had." After she left, no one could believe it, and the producers were at a loss for what to do next because they didn't know how to even continue after that. Trust me, part 3 is where things get even. Darker turn. Because guess what? Maya wasn't finished talking, and what she revealed next is going to take this story to a whole new level. So, with the whole cast sitting there in complete shock, Yandy just walked out with tears in her eyes, and Maya stood there silently as if she had just dropped a nuke. The producers were sweating because now that the truth was out, they had officially ruined one of the biggest relationships in the history of love and hip-hop. And just when you think it's over, Maya brings it up again. Since we're being honest, we might as well tell everything. And baby, she wasn't playing because it turns out that Mendeecees wasn't just lying about having another woman. He had a whole baby, a child, that no one knew about. When I tell you this, the whole room freezes, and the energy is so intense that it could have flipped a table. In a matter of seconds, everything changed. People were standing up, looking perplexed, and Carly Red was clutching her chest as if she were going to faint. Yandy had already left, but she returned. Sis quickly turned around because she needed to hear with her ears. She looked Maya in the face and said, "Say that again." And Maya repeated it with her entire chest. "Mendeecees has a baby, and he's been keeping it from you all." Yandy almost passed out, but security had to stop her because she was about to swing. Even the cast members were becoming irate at this point. Erica Mena was shaking her head. Lil Scrappy was pacing the floor. Bambi was in the corner whispering, "This is some crazy Shasterisk tea." And Rich Dotus appeared to want to leave because everything was so disorganized. Finally, Maya took out the receipts, pulled out her phone, went straight to the photos, and boom, she showed a picture of a baby that looked exactly like Mendeecees. There was no doubting it, and Yandy lost it when she saw it. The craziest part was that Mendeecees was still not saying a word. He was just standing there rubbing his face like he was about to faint because he knew he had been caught. She screamed, "I gave this man my whole life, and this is what he does. Ay. Whole child behind my back." When he finally tried to say something, he was stuttering, but Yandy interrupted him quickly. "Listen, it's not what you think, but I think you have a whole child. How do you hide a baby?" That's when men break down because this man had been standing there silently trying to play it cool, but now he was breaking down and fled. He put his hands over his face, took a deep breath, and then said, "I'm scared, baby." That made Yandy even more frightened. "You weren't afraid when you were lying to me, or when you were lying to me, or when you made me look foolish on national television. But now you're afraid." At this point, security had to restrain Yandy once more because she was about to throw hands with me. He had nothing to say because the truth was out. The cameras captured it all, and now his entire world was falling apart. Yandy sis finished, turned to Maya and said, "Keep him. He's yours now." She then removed her microphone, threw it on the ground, and departed forever. He attempted to follow her out, but security blocked him because there was nothing left to do. The biggest relationship in hip-hop and love history ended abruptly, and the producers got exactly what they wanted because after Yandy left, they began rolling credits for the fade to black season. My friends, that's how many DCs lost everything in one night. From side chicks to secret babies, from cheating rumors to full-fledged secret relationships, and this man did it all. Yandy, sis, she walked away with her freedom, dignity, and peace because, let's face it, she deserved so much more. Messes. Wow. I hope he enjoys being single because after this, no one will ever take him seriously again. However, let me tell, You something? The aftermath is going to be even more bizarre because, believe me, this isn't over. There you have it, y'all. Complete chaos. Done for good, and Maya. You just dropped a bombshell that changed everything, but don't worry. This drama is far from over because everyone is reacting. Social media is ablaze, the cast is picking sides, and you already know the producers are planning something even more bizarre for the upcoming season. Tell me, who do you all think was Yandy blind to the truth the entire time? I need to hear your thoughts about this mess, so please leave a comment below. If you enjoy this type of tea, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications.